Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Zoning Design Review Board meeting for Tuesday, February 9th. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Okay. Member Allen?
Here.
Member Tigert?
Here.
And Chair Cook?
Here.
I'll let the record show that members Laz and Dorman are excused.
Okay, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would somebody like to make a motion to adopt the agenda?
I move to adopt the agenda as presented.
And a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's adopted. There were no minutes provided for the last meeting, so we can skip that. Any public comment for items not on the agenda? I don't believe so. We can move right to our calendar.
Good evening. So tonight you have design review for one of the three buildings at the Whistle Stop Center, and the Whistle Stop Center is comprised of the historic depot building that was constructed in 1888, and this is a photo of that structure. It has a gable roof line. It has the divided light pattern of windows and horizontal siding. And in the 1980s, two additional buildings were approved at the Whistle Stop Center, and the building at the corner is shown here, but the second one is to the west of the other two buildings. And it shares many of the same design details as the historic depot in the gable roof line, the divided light pattern of windows, and the horizontal siding, although it doesn't mimic that building. And the subject of tonight's design review is only the building at the corner, and it houses JCB Tasting Salon and Atelier by JCB, which is a gourmet food shop. Both of the businesses of which are scheduled to have their grand opening this Saturday. So it was during construction that the applicants removed the front doors and the side lights that were found to either side of the doors on all three building elevations with storefront entries, and those are shown here. When the side lights were removed, it left a gap in the siding because it didn't continue all the way to edge of door frame, and because of that gap, the applicant had proposed pilasters with a crown entablature above, and this shows the original proposal. And this didn't really receive strong staff report or staff support at all because of what we believed was inconsistency with the design aesthetic of the historic depot, but also that it looked like a false facade that wasn't integral to building and therefore wasn't consistent with design ordinance standards. We let the applicant know that, and they are now representing a revised design that staff can lend its support to. It's shown in a drawing here, and while it still has the pilasters and the crown entablature, it's much simplified in form. We don't see the rounded formations. We see more of the squared formations that we see at the Whistle Stop Center, and so it's more in keeping with the design aesthetic. Let me skip over that one. The photo on the right here shows an existing column, and you can see the squared nature and how that really matches what has been mocked up on the front of the building in the left-hand photo is very consistent with the existing aesthetic. So here on the left shows the original proposal that didn't have staff report, but on the right we really find that that is in keeping, like I say. So here's another comparison of the two, and you can really see how different they are. One is ornate and rounded, and one is really very simplified. So we are happy to say we can support the design as amended. I do want to note it's only for this one building at the Whistle Stop Center, and so it will set it apart from the rear building. Our hope is that we will see a more comprehensive design plan for the center as a whole here shortly in the future, even that addresses the other building, the Overland building. Although we do want to say that that is a historic building. It's listed on our index, so we don't want to copy what you see here on that building. But this is the proposal before you tonight. The applicant is here as well as the designer.
Okay. Either of you have questions of staff?
No. No.
So if they had come to you with the design on the left, you would have just approved it?
No, I don't think so because of the fact that this is a complex with 3 buildings. And the changes to this building, I think, deserves attention by the ZDRB.
Okay.
It is consistent with existing buildings, so I'm pleased we can lend our staff support to it. But I still think because it's a major change, it deserves to come before you.
Okay. So we're
And
deciding.
it's actually not just the pilasters on the side. We do see new doors here. These are more typical of storefront doors. They don't have to mimic the divided light pattern that's on the other 2 buildings, but it is a difference.
Okay. So you're asking us to look at the whole
Thing,
the
yeah.
whole design, the choice of the 2 pillars. Are they appropriate
Yes.
in
And let's
the
go
first
back-
place, and then design between the 2?
Let's go back to this. This really shows the new doors and the new trim details to the side.
And you don't have a picture of before?
I do. So let's go back to these photos. This is when Cornerstone was in the location.
Okay.
There were divided
side
light
lights,
front
okay.
doors as well
Yeah.
as the side lights to either side.
Okay.
It's a lot of pains.
Yeah, it is.
And
Simplified.
this is only on the rear door, the one on the west side of the property, or is this also going to be on the 2 on the east side as well?
This will be for all 3 doors.
All 3 doors, okay.
Okay. I don't think if there's any other questions to staff, we can move on to comments from the applicant.
Thank you very much. My name is Tom Blackwood. I am the Director of Retail Operations for Boise Collection, and I'll be overseeing the team here that'll be running the JCB Tasting Salon and Atelier by JCB. Just want to thank the board for meeting with us tonight. I know it was last minute, and I really appreciate you making time this evening. Also would like to thank the staff for their assistance on this project overall. We've been, I think, got our original approval back in June and thought we would be long done by now, but it's been a wonderful project, and we're very excited to bring it to a close and get JCB open. With that, we personally, from my perspective, always want staff approval, always want the staff on board. And when Sandra and I spoke last week, and she expressed some of her concerns about the one mock-up we had done in back, we immediately started to work on another idea. Yes, we love that idea, very classical for the time period, but we understood Sandra's position and concerns, and so that's where we decided, hey, let's come up with a simplified version, let's come up with a more squared version, something that fits, the building itself and the actual posts that, support the deck and are part of the deck. And so with that, we met today and looked at, the mock-up, and we're very happy to hear that Sandra thought it fit the property better and was in line with something that she could support. So with that, I have our designer here, Josh Rowland, who could talk about the design aspect of it a little bit, and I'll return at that point.
Okay. Did anybody have any questions of him before he leaves?
I'm good.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Joshua Rowland. Susan touched on most of the points that I'm going to bring up, that we took details from existing architectural details and incorporated them into this new entryway. The pediment detail you also see similarly over windows throughout the property. And it is in keeping, I think, with the overall architectural detail of the property. Even the all clear glass on the doors also. There are a couple doors on the historical building that do have all clear glass. There is some fretwork just around the border, but I don't think it's that disparate from the other.
Okay. Anybody have any questions of Joshua?
No.
Okay. Thank you. I guess we can conduct our discussion then. What do you guys think?
So with the new proposal of I agree, I like the square a bit better. It fits more into the overall aesthetic of the building. I personally am not too concerned about the way it's matching with the building next to it in the same plaza. As I just drove by, and correct me if I'm wrong, the colors aren't even identical to those buildings?
They will be in the future, though,
Okay.
color-wise.
So I think the pillar aspect would be at this point, the least of our concern. And I don't think it stands out to the point where if you walk by, it would be very, very noticeable. So I think with the adjustments to the pillars, I'm in support of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with the revised design. It simplifies. The other one, I agree with Sandra, is a little too ornate for the overall compound of the three buildings. This one just fits in better, and I personally I like it better. The overall look for the whole place.
Of the square ones?
Yes, the square
Okay.
one simplify, and I like the big windows, the doors without the lattice work. Actually, that's my personal preference. So I think it's good.
Yeah, I think that particular drawing comes off heavy and ornate, but when you go by and look at the building, I think it's a satisfactory upgrade to it without getting too carried away.
Yeah.
And I definitely agree that the squared pillars and not the rounded ones that are in the back are acceptable to the current design. So we appreciate your taking the step to do that so quickly so that we could take a look at the squared ones. Okay, if we're, yes.
It is a public hearing, so if there's other members of the public.
Oh,
that may-
are there any other members of the public who would like to comment? That would be you, Jeffrey. Okay, thank you. Okay, it sounds like we're all in agreement. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I move to approve the, what's the? I move to approve the design review with the amended pillars as presented by the applicant.
In a second?
I'll second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it's unanimous. We have 3 votes. So it passes with the new pillars,
Yeah.
the square ones.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, right, okay, bye-bye.
It is better.
Okay, is there anything on the consent calendar?
No.
No
Okay.
consent.
And no public hearings? So we can adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a move to adjourn.
That was easier.
All in favor? The
Aye.
meeting's adjourned.
Aye, we're in favor.